You just lay down. And without thinking, your body turned a certain way. Not randomly. Your feet, your head, the direction you're facing right now, all of it lined up with something ancient. You didn't decide it. You didn't even notice it happening. But check right now. There's a good chance you're facing the door. This isn't a coincidence. It isn't superstition either. What's actually happening in your bedroom tonight traces back hundreds of thousands of years to a time when the direction you faced while unconscious could be the difference between waking up and not waking up at all. Think about your own bedroom for a second. Where's your bed positioned? For most people, without ever deciding it on purpose, the bed ends up facing the door, or at least angled so the door is visible from the pillow. Very few people sleep with their back to the entrance, and their feet pointed into a corner. It feels wrong somehow, even if you've never articulated why. Interior designers know this well. It's called the commanding position, and hotels quietly design around it because guests sleep better in rooms where the bed faces the door. Nobody tells the guest why. The guest just feels it. So where does this feeling come from? To answer that, you have to go back. Not to childhood, not to your parents' house, all the way back to before houses existed at all. For most of human history, sleep wasn't safe. Not in the way it is now. Anthropologist Carol Worthman, who has spent decades studying sleep across dozens of traditional societies, has pointed out something striking. In nearly every hunter-gatherer culture ever studied, sleeping arrangements were never random. People positioned themselves deliberately, with the most vulnerable members, children, the elderly, tucked toward the center or the back, and the entrance to the shelter watched, consciously or not, by whoever slept nearest to it. Sleep, for your ancestors, was the most dangerous part of the day. You couldn't see. You couldn't smell as well. Your muscles went slack. For a few hours every night, every single human being on Earth became almost completely defenseless. And in that defenselessness, one thing mattered more than almost anything else: knowing where the danger could come from. That meant the opening, the cave mouth, the gap in the thorn bush enclosure, the entrance to the hut, whatever the boundary was between outside, where the danger lives, and inside, where you sleep. That boundary needed to be watched, not by everyone, all night, but by instinct, by positioning, by the simple geometry of where bodies were placed. Here's the fascinating part. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker calls it the first night effect. In an unfamiliar place, one half of your brain literally stays more alert than the other, acting like a night watchman while the rest of you sleeps. Not a flaw, a feature, and a very old one, likely built for exactly the kind of vigilance your ancestors needed in a new camp, a new cave, an unfamiliar stretch of savanna. Now bring that back to your bedroom. Even in a space you've slept in 1,000 times, a space with locked doors and alarm systems, and neighbors and walls, some deep, old part of your brain still runs the same basic calculation. Your ancestors' brains ran every single night for hundreds of thousands of years. Where is the opening? Can I see it? Am I vulnerable to it? If you sleep facing away from your bedroom door, notice how it feels. For a lot of people, there's a subtle, hard-to-name discomfort. Nothing dramatic, just an itch at the back of the mind. Some people describe it as feeling like their back is exposed. That word choice is not an accident. It's almost exactly the language you'd expect from an animal, whose ancestors spent millennia sleeping in the open, in groups, taking turns watching the dark. There's a broader pattern here too, one that evolutionary psychologists have long pointed to. Humans are what's called a prey-aware species, even though modern humans face almost no predators at all. Your body doesn't know that though. Your nervous system was shaped over an almost incomprehensibly long stretch of time, when the threats were real, immediate, and often nocturnal. Big cats hunted at night. Rival groups sometimes raided at night. The dark itself, quite reasonably, became something your ancestors' bodies learned to respect. Evolutionary biologist Randolph Nesse has written extensively about how modern anxieties are frequently just ancient defense systems firing in a world that no longer needs them. Your smoke detector doesn't know the difference between a house fire and burnt toast. and your sleeping brain doesn't fully know the difference between a bedroom door in a locked apartment and the mouth of a cave on the open savanna. Both trigger the same underlying calculation, the same quiet need to keep the exit in view. This is also why so many people report sleeping worse in hotel rooms, Airbnbs, or any unfamiliar space, especially on the first night. It's not just the strange mattress or the different pillow. It's that your ancient monitoring system doesn't yet know the layout. It hasn't mapped where the danger could come from. Once you sleep in a space a few times, your brain quietly builds a mental map of the exits, the walls, the safe zones, and the vigilance eases. That's the first night effect resolving itself. There's something oddly touching about all of this. You live in one of the safest environments a human has ever lived in. Locked doors, solid walls, emergency services a phone call away. And yet, every night, your body still runs a security check that was designed for a world of open fires and unguarded cave mouths. You are, in a very real sense, still sleeping like your ancestors did, even though almost nothing about your actual risk has anything in common with theirs. It's worth asking what else this old wiring might be quietly doing. Some researchers who study sleep environment and stress have suggested that people sleep more deeply, wake up less frequently, and report feeling more rested when their sleeping position allows a clear, if unconscious, sightline to the room's main entrance. It's a small thing, but it might be one of the last visible fingerprints of a survival strategy that shaped nearly every human who ever lived before you. So tonight, when you get into bed, take a second and notice which way you're facing. Notice where the door is. You probably won't have consciously chosen it, and that's exactly the point. Some decisions your body makes for you were never really decisions at all. They're inheritance, quiet instructions passed down from thousands of generations of ancestors who didn't survive by accident, but by paying close, careful attention to the one opening between themselves and the dark. Tonight, before you fall asleep, you'll do something you've never once thought about. And now, for the first time, you'll know exactly why.